Hi again, this is attorney Robert Flessas. Today I'd like to talk about variable costs when children are involved in a divorce. As all parents know, the financial costs of raising children can be substantial. Divorced parents are expected to share variable costs. Variable costs can include health insurance co-pays, school supplies, lunch programs, fees to participate in sports or clubs, musical instruments and lessons, auto insurance, driver's education fees, prom expenses, just to name a few. How do you ensure that variable costs are effectively dealt with by the parties after the divorce is final? Well, the court issues an order which should address variable cost. The parties are expected to comply with the order, otherwise the violating party is subject to being held in contempt. But if the other party fails to comply, it could get expensive to bring the other party to court to enforce the terms of variable costs. Remember, a court order can only be amended or changed by a subsequent court order or by mutual written consent of the parties, so you should consider the following before signing off on the final divorce papers when it comes to variable costs. One big problem is that one former spouse may have trouble collecting money from the other former spouse for their share that's due for variable costs. Most people assume that the other former spouse will follow through and pay their share of a cost by just asking. But if there's animosity still lurking after the divorce, collecting for variable costs may be a way for the angry spouse to get even. In many cases, the offending spouse, the one who fails to comply, knows that it's not financially justified for the other spouse to summon them into court to pay their $75 or $100 for variable costs, so they just blow it off. This is why the final court order of divorce needs to be crafted in a way that makes repayment of variable costs orderly and specific. You should make sure the court order defines variable costs, state how the variable costs will be paid between the parties, and define the time frame for payment. You can also insert language that requires the other spouse to obtain written consent from the other spouse before incurring a valuable cost that the other party will be partially responsible for. It's a very good practice to keep accurate records of variable costs incurred and paid, evidence of your form of payment, and purchase receipts. Did you find this video helpful? If you did, consider subscribing to my channel. You can also leave comments below of your experience with variable costs, your former spouse, and the outcome. I'm attorney Robert Flessas, and thanks for watching.